Hello everyone, my name is Let's Camera Ants.
And my name is Endurance, your fellow ant YouTuber.
Today we will be going over the only ant species that is legal to keep all over the US except for Hawaii and Alaska.
Right, this is the only ant species that has been approved to be shipped throughout the contiguous US.
Yes, but before we dive into what this ant species is, we will first have to tell you about how it all got to this point.
As of August 9th, 2019, this species became the first ant species to be allowed to ship in the USA, except for Hawaii and Alaska. Some other states like Florida, for example, aren't so flexible as they need a permit to allow shipment of this species. But what kind of ant is Pogonomyrmex Occidentalis?
Pogonomyrmex Occidentalis are harvester ants, which are known to bring plant material and seeds to their nest, which will be stored in dry chambers for later processing and consumption. These ants range from as far south as Chihuahua, Mexico, to as north as British Columbia, Canada. Now, let's go on to the original states that they're from.
This species is more common in the dry western part of the US. This includes states such as California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and the central USA. However, they're also found in Canada, where they're a bit more rare. On the AntWiki website, the map is a bit outdated, as they can also be found in Florida. You can also find them in most deserts, where seeds can be found, and in the grasslands, as a lot of fauna covers that biome.
Now let's go on to talk about how you can identify these ants. These ants, like most Pogonomyrmex, have a rustic red tint to their exoskeleton. They often get confused with a similar species, Pogonomyrmex salinus, while Pogonomyrmex occidentalis have a slightly misoriented basal mandibular. Being the first tooth, Pogonomyrmex salinus have a straight basal mandibular, meaning that their first tooth is oriented in a way that is lined up with the rest of the teeth that make up the set of mandibles. Now that you know what they look like, you might be wondering how, when, and where do you find a queen?
The majority of their flights happen in the summer, usually in the hottest time of the day. They can also have their flights after the first summer rain and can fly in the thousands. In Southern California, it's very common to find this species, but unfortunately residents need a permit in order to ship and buy them out of state.
Care is relatively simple. You would care for these ants just like most Pogonomyrmex. They've been known to be fully colostral, meaning that they can get through the founding stage without food, but for best results and a better chance for success, it's preferred to give them food. Speaking of which, their diet consists of mainly seeds and other plant material, but protein is also a necessity, especially for the brood and queen. Some suggested protein-rich food sources include feeder insects such as pre-killed mealworms and crickets, but for smaller colonies, flightless fruit flies are a good way to go. And the great thing about all these feeders is the fact that you can find them at almost any pet store.
As this is the first species to be able to be shipped without a permit, this is still very new to the ant community. Currently, Tar Heel Ants is one of the few known ant-based companies that sells this species, but for a hefty price of $60 for a queen alone, or $90 for a queen with 2 workers or more.
So now that you know what Pogonomyrmex occidentalis is and their care requirements, you must now ask yourself if they are right for you. Can you give them the food, space, and hibernation they require? Will you be at the house when they arrive? This question is really important to those of you who are experiencing harsh weather. And last but not least, what will you do if they escape? These ants, like most other North American harvester ants, can and most definitely will sting if threatened.
But these questions aren't here to scare you either. They are questions to think about if you were to get a colony or a queen. If you can't care for them to the best of your ability, then you shouldn't get them in the first place. Remember, ant keeping isn't always about getting as many ants you can get your hands on. It's about enjoying the ones you do have and to cherish their company.
And before we depart, I want to give a massive shout out to everyone's name who appears on the screen right now, as they allowed me to use their photos and clips in this collab video. I'll leave links to everyone's Instagram in the description down below. as well as a link to David Quinn's website. I also want to give a big thank you / shout out to Ender Ants who joined us in today's video. If you guys don't know who he is, he's another ant keeper who makes awesome YouTube videos, and not too long ago he recently reached 2,000 subscribers. I'll leave a link to his YouTube and his Instagram page. Comment on one of his videos, tell him I sent you, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.